What's going on, guys? Dylan, the SDR Whisperer here with another student spotlight. Got my boy Adam, who's an absolute beast. Excited to have you on the call. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Yeah, I mean, you guys have been extremely helpful throughout my entire process, so I definitely appreciate you guys.
Yeah, of course. I love the Mamba mentality on the back end. I love Kobe. He's the man.
Dude, I've been a Kobe fan since I was like 12. Honestly, when he passed away, I remember crying that day just because he had such an impact on my life.
I think more people cried for Kobe that didn't know him than most any other celebrity that's ever passed. Yeah, because he just retired. He was just getting into like movies, and it's like, oh no, a helicopter crash of all things. I thought it was fake news when it popped on my phone.
I couldn't believe it.
Died.
Yeah, I thought it was fake news too. But I mean, yeah, he had such an incredible impact. Honestly, like probably the biggest impact out of any of the NBA guys that I know of. I mean, even Michael Jordan, I mean, he had a big impact, but like Kobe just, I don't know, he had a culture shift. So
yeah, he's a little bit of a different breed, but dude, you're kind of like a Mamba mentality for appointment setting and cold calling, dude. I always, see your EODs, you're like 6 sets, 8 sets, 5 sets. It's like you've been Mr. Consistent, dude. And that's why we're on this call today. So for anyone watching this who's not, done with Kobe and want to hear about Adam, let us know who you are, what you're working on, things like that.
Yeah. So my name's Adam Mizda. So I joined SDR Whisperer about, I want to say 7 or 8 months ago. And I mean, right now I'm just finishing up with a company called Organic Course Selling Mastery. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's been a really good experience. But with the Organic Course Selling Mastery, I started really crushing it with you guys. And Jake got me on a good offer. And over time, I just started picking up how to set better. But I started like really doing a lot of learning on my own too, of just like reps. I mean, that's what you guys preach. And that was like a really big thing that I just adopted over time. So
love it, dude. And you got something cooking next week.
Yeah. So I'm about to actually start this new position called at publishing.com. And they are the number 19 fastest growing private company on the Inc. 5000. So that was an opportunity that came across the table. I'm just so thankful that you guys actually were like willing to even like give me a shot, because I was brand new to sales when I first came in like 7 or 8 months ago. Yeah. So I wouldn't have like even gotten into the sales game or understood the online space the way that I do without your guys' help. So
literally the atoms of the world is why we work hard. But where did you originally hear about us?
Yeah, so actually in a Jacob Hopkins Discord. So one of my buddies told me to join the Discord, and I saw the automated revenue posting. You guys were working with him hand in hand, helping new SDRs. So I did an application with him, and then I started reaching out to Jake specifically. And I was sending, Jake wasn't getting back to me right away. And I was like, all right, I just got to like show that I want it, So I started sending him a lot of emails. I was crafty with my emails, dude. I was doing a lot of storytelling, just like how you do your cold emails, like or do your email blasts. I was doing that same thing with Jake. And then he was like, all right, that was a spectacular email. Let me get you on. So yeah,
dude, that's what we preach too, is like, you got to do the job to get the job. If you're just like, hey, following up here, you're not going to get a response. So honestly, like probably some of our best students like have prospected us. Yeah. It's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah, no. And I just had to keep on prospecting with you guys, because I knew I was like, all right, I like, obviously I'm in sales, like I'm about to be in sales at least. And I just need to show that I actually want this position. So I just need to, have that relentless effort,
Yeah. I mean, dude, you've been, like I said, Mr. Consistent, like every single day, the reps are there, the volume is there, and the results are there as well. So, and the cool thing is when you transition from like high ticket to like number 19 on the Inc. 5000 list, they don't have the same mentality and like all the grind and grit that you've gotten to this point. Like, don't forget that, because you're going to blow those guys out the water. Because I've been in big companies and like everyone's lazy, they're slow, They
Yeah.
clock out at 5, they clock in at 9.
No, and I mean, the cold calling at first was like such a big thing for me. I mean, I remember being so nervous to make my first cold call, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I remember getting that feeling in my stomach where I was like, like I don't really want to do this. But over time, what happens is you start to really adopt a different mentality once you just keep on being consistent, making all the dials. And then you start seeing like a lot of progress that happens. And I think that people underestimate like just getting the reps in. And then over time, you start to just adapt a new mentality, man. So yeah, the cold calling was
once
like,
you start seeing the phone as money, it
Mhm.
changes, right? It's not like I have to make cold calls. It's like, oh, I get to make cold calls. Like I get to like have
exactly.
a direct correlation between what I do and what I earn. Yeah, once you make that correlation, like I don't know if you see my videos, but when I first started cold calling, like I was terrified. I remember vividly, like someone would pick up, like hello, I click. I wouldn't even hold the conversation. I'm like, I don't want to do this. A little bit high pressure, you know. I was in like a room, everyone was cold calling. My manager was like right next to me, like where this TV is, and he's like, listen, you can hear him like click in. So like I was on a cold call.
Yeah, so he's listening to your calls.
Yeah, live. Like you could like see him like put his headset on and you hear like a little click and you're like, oh God, don't mess this
You're
up.
like, I can't mess this one up. Yeah. I mean, just over time, I just saw like the development that I started to have. And like I started getting much more, I just keep on using the word, I kept on adapting, but like I really started getting very comfortable on the phones. And then I was like, okay, now I'm ready for this next step into really getting more warm leads because I feel like I've really gotten this cold calling thing down. So I wouldn't have had that opportunity without you guys. So again, thank you.
Of course, dude. Of course. So you said, right, you weren't in sales. A buddy told you about sales. You're like, let me check it out. And then now you're here. There's a lot of individuals that, sales is cheesy or corny, or like the car salesman, like, I don't want to get into sales. So if someone's watching this video and they were where you were at 8 months ago, what would you say to them? And then kind of any advice?
Yeah, good question, man. So, I mean, really what I would say to them is just get into a position like this and just get placed on an offer and you will start getting better. But the key is going to be practicing. Like if you're not practicing in your free time, then you're not going to get good. You're not going to understand what good word economy is. You're not going to understand what good probing, clarifying questions are. So just stick with it and just consistently do the dials every single day. Do what they're telling you in the SDR Whisperer to do, and you will start having success. And I think a lot of people underestimate just getting the reps in and actually practicing themselves. That's the advice I'd give somebody.
Hell yeah, dude. And then what was like your practice like off the phone? I'm always curious.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would create note cards of different questions that I wanted to ask. And at first, I just was like trying to get comfortable with the cold calling. And, Jake was able to give me good scripts and like good questions to work off of. But then over time, I started developing some of my own questions and just having like my own thinking about how I'm going about my sales process. So practicing those questions over and over consistently, looking at different note cards. I would have them just sitting right here and I would just literally sit there in the morning for 45 minutes just repping out questions. And over time, all my sales conversations started becoming more conversational, and then it just felt a lot easier and it flowed a lot better. And then I was like, ooh, this is like running or lifting. Like over time, I just like start to pick up momentum. So it just, I don't know, it just clicked.
That's sick, dude. Right there is the reason why you're good and successful and will be in the future in whatever you do, is that mentality of I'm going to master this. Like taking 45 minutes out of your day to look at note cards, 99% of the world doesn't do that, right? They don't have that much intentionality. So dude, that's awesome to hear.
Sure, man.
And it worked, right? Like you put it into practice and then you reap the results. But awesome, dude. Well, I don't want to keep you off the phones too much longer. I appreciate you hopping on, giving some time to us. If anyone wanted to find you, is it like LinkedIn, Twitter?
Yeah, so I'd say LinkedIn. You can just look up Adam Mizda. I mean, just want to actually state some of the stats that I actually had before we get off, because with Organic Core Selling Mastery, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't have even had these stats available for that placement offer that I had without you guys. So, I mean, I had $272,000 in sets closed, like 387 sets. And this is over a 6-month span, like 33% closing percentage on average with the sets that I actually had, 76% show up rate, and then 53 set sales. And all of this is because of Dylan and Jake actually like harping on specific things that I was supposed to do. And the more that I actually just followed them and just said, okay, I'm just going to do these tasks that they're telling me to do, the better I got. And I mean, the results speak for themselves. So yeah, you guys can find me on LinkedIn, Adam Mizda. You can look me up on Instagram, Adam Mizda. And yeah, I appreciate you guys, man.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'm pumped. You'll have to keep me up to date on how things are going at publishing.com. They just got a legend there. I'm hyped for you, dude. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you in Slack.
Awesome, man. Sounds good.
Take care, brother. Peace.
Cool. Peace.